Gentlemen, start your engine!
Hey Dad, did you know that replacing your cooling system reduces repair costs and improves energy efficiency? Plus it operates more efficiently, which means more money in my pocket. I mean, your pocket. Hey Dad, did you know that a new cooling system is less noisy and has a smart thermostat you can control from your phone?
How'd you get so smart?
Must be from Mom.
When it comes to your home's most important decisions, make the smart choice and trust your local Cedar Rapids Pro partner. We're in your neighborhood, so call today.
After 2 weeks of wide open racing, it's time to flip the script and turn right. This week from COTA West in Racing Revolution, it's the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series live in Texas. Welcome in everybody for the Earhart Holmes Grand Prix Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper, alongside Alex Gagnon. Alan. Oh my God. Yeah, I was just telling you, I had a rough day. I think I'm slowly losing my mind, but I'm hoping that this place will revive me. We had a lot of great road course racing last season. I hope we're treated to the same this week.
Yeah, we can only hope, but last year does leave a really high bar to clear for these guys. A lot of really, really entertaining road course racing in Racing Rev last year. Hoping for more of the same here today. And you know, just from watching these guys in practice and in qualifying, we've really seen them put together quite the show here. And I think we'll have a lot of really competitive race cars today.
Of course, you've got names like Trevor Keith, who did well at Chicago Street Course. He's looking fast here tonight. You've got the dominant driver in the 9, Jeremy Burns, who's won I believe 9 out of the last 10 road courses that we've been at. So you take that into a factor. Is there any other names that stand out here at this track tonight?
The other big one that jumps out to me is Carter Linz. He's been really good at these road courses, was right there at Sonoma last year, was racy at COTA last year as well. He's looked real sharp here in practice. I think he's another driver to keep an eye on here between him, Burns, Keith. We have some real road course runners in this field, man. It's fun.
Wrapping it up here in the warm-up, but what I can tell you is based off the session, it's going to be a little bit of the same, but I think as this race progresses, as we cycle through, of course, stage racing, that's another factor in this event. And of course, 48 laps here today in total, pit road speed at 40 miles per hour, 6 tire sets available, 5 behind the wall, 2 green, white checkered attempts, and the fuel at 50%. But Alex, that stage, that's a guaranteed yellow. Outside of that, there are no cautions.
Yeah, that's the big one, especially with it being a road course here in iRacing. Money would suggest that this would be the only caution. So if something's not handling right, or if you really cook your tires in that opening couple of laps, that is the only chance you're really going to comfortably get to be able to fix that problem.
Well, with that, it is time to take you down track side and get the pole award up on your screen. Starting on that top spot, it's going to be Carter Linz. Congratulations to the driver to the number 66 for the KLD pole award. Starting to his outside, it's going to be Rob Roeder in the number 53. These 2 times very, very close, about 0.2 of a second separating the 66 and 53. Row number 2 belongs to Jeremy Burns. Dakota Floyd, another name that kind of stands out here at these road courses. Remember Watkins Glen. He'll start in the 4th position. Parker Johnson and Trevor Keith are going to start 5th and 6th spot. 7th going to Nick Alves. Michael Bennett will start in 8th. And rounding out your top 10 here this evening, Justin Ritchie in the 55, Kyle Stewart in the 10.
Looking back to row number 6, it'll be Michael Call in that 5 machine. Ben Laughter in the 64 rolls off 12th. 13th will go to the 11 of Matt Robinson alongside the 45 of Tyler Harrison, just in front of Caleb Gilbert in that 54 and the 77 of Grant Thorpe. Looking back to row number 9, it will be Justice Murphy alongside Brandon Pamitat and Dylan Picklesheimer, winner already this season, and John Fike will roll out through the top 20.
14 more cars on your grid here this evening with Kevin Orlando Jr. Jacob Sirkovich will start 22nd. Then row number 12 with Ryan Minaz and Grant Turner in the 39. Malcolm Simpson, Alex Forget Berube. They go back to Jeremiah Nelson, Al Likens, Sam Taylor, Michael Reed, Fred Pennington, Joe Joya. A little bit off the pace here to start this one out. Christopher Schaefer and Daniel Holloway electing not to take a time here this evening. So there's a look at this racetrack. It doesn't take them quite as long to pace around this version of it. The full length of this track, 3.46 miles. It's one of the biggest tracks in North America. But here today, we are cutting it in half. Carter Linz going to lead them into turn 1. Here we go for week number 3 at COTA Racing Revolution in the Chapman Cup Series. Road course racing.
Oh, already a little bit of trouble at the top of the hill.
Are we going to make it through turn 1? 87th around.
Richie, Call all around, trying to get it sorted out. No one with terminal damage, no one in the gravel. So nothing too disastrous. Oh, Nick Alves is around through the S's. So is Kevin Orlando. Oh boy, it is getting ugly through the S's. John Fike's around. Harrison, 44 sideways. Oh boy. Messy opening lap. Someone else just skids off into turn 6. That's the 30 of Pennington. Man, side by side through the S's really doesn't work here at COTA, but especially tonight. Boy, there's a lot of people who came out of that worse than they started off.
Let's just try to get a look at it from the aerial view. I think we could sum this all up into one big ball. You can see the separation in the top 10 already, where that accident happened up the hill.
Yeah, and you can already see how much these guys are getting some separation, finding their own bit of real estate, and how things have really fanned out. The big winner of all of that was Rob Roeder, who took advantage here to jump to the front as they're making their way down here into, I want to say this is 16, getting ready to come back to the start-finish line. So this is concluding the opening lap. Looks like Rob Roeder will lead first lap of the race. Burns, Linz, Floyd, and Johnston, your top 5 here. Johnston and Floyd actually side by side across the line. But yeah, pole sitter Carter Linz, not a stellar opening corner. Cost him a couple of spots, and he's got some work to do to get back out of here.
And it was the 55 of Justin Ritchie who lost 22 spots after that spin. Let's see if we can go back up the hill and find what happened to Ritchie. I mean, this all happens so quickly. We're talking about, in one lap, 7 different cars had a problem.
Yeah, and that was, I mean, we had 3 who had issues in the opening corner, and then about every corner of the way back down the hill through the S's into 6, there was another car who went off track, either involuntarily or with some help, as Christopher Schaefer and Daniel Holloway just got tangled up here. But here's the replay of this opening corner, and you can see just how ambitious some of these guys got into the opening corner. Call goes around. Orlando sent it in really deep. Pamatak gets spun off the nose of Caleb Gilbert. Now watch this as we go down the hill, because these guys are trying to right the ship. But every time we're going down here, another car gets knocked off the racetrack. You see, there goes Alves and Orlando.
Trying to find it here.
Yeah, it's, I mean, it's all over the place. It's everywhere. So there's another couple that went off. That's Harrison, who's recovering.
Rewind through the S's like you mentioned. Had to back it up. The 11, there's the 24 going around. And the 27 comes back up the racetrack. I believe that's karma for going 4 wide up the hill on lap 1.
Yeah, just an unreal first lap as far as shuffling the field is concerned, because it really left some big implications on shuffling people around. And up here, we're looking at second, Carter Linz back on the attack here, trying to track down and get around Jeremy Burns for that second spot. We are all within a second of the race leader, Rob Roeder, right now, and Linz is giving a lot to the back bumper of the 9.
Look on board with Linz in the 66. Chasing close behind the 9. The 9 catching up to Rob Roeder here in the hairpin. A lot of ground made up. The accordion effect of this top 3 already.
Yeah, and that's something that we see a lot at these sort of road course races. You know, is the field really stretching out on the straightaways and really condensing into these corners with how heavy some of these braking zones are. The big thing you really need to be able to do is stay close to someone's bumper coming out of a corner, especially going onto a straightaway. That is the way you'll make a move. If you're able to keep them within arm's reach at the start of the straightaway, that draft, especially down the front stretch here, will be more than powerful enough to give you the run you need to make a lunge to the inside going into that next corner. So as we jump on board here with Dakota Floyd, who's in a great spot to try to capitalize here. How much is he going to be able to stick to the 66? Not quite. Looks like Lynn's got a bit of a better exit here, so everyone going to fan out once again as we make our way on the lap number 4.
And you get up to about 160 miles per hour before you have a hard braking zone up the hill. You come back down through the S's at about 120. This is just floating the throttle, trying to keep the car on the apex every single time. Parker Johnston in 5th spot. So 4th and 5th have not changed. The top 3 still the same names, but 1 position gain for Roeder, 1 position gain for Burns. Lynn's back to 3rd. And you have all these drivers that are kind of struggling outside of the top 5 because of the incident. We've got to bring these guys back together now.
Yeah, this is going to be the interesting thing, is watching some of these guys try to track people down now with the field being a little more spread out. This is the battle here for 6th between Bennett and Keith. You can add Kyle Stewart to the mix there. He's not too far off the back bumper of the 15. So, you know, they're several car lengths removed from this top 5 battle as Trevor Keith tried getting a nose in there. A little bit of contact between the two. Bennett's going to hold serve for now, but man, shows how quickly things could change. Trevor Keith got a nose to the inside, tried to make something happen, but that pass not completed. And now here comes Kyle Stewart right to his back bumper.
It's kind of what we saw up front. 3 cars battling in tandem. Keith takes another stab at it in the final corner, spins the tires. That's going to allow Stewart up the hill to the inside.
He's taking a look here in the 1 door-to-door. Looks like he'll be able to clear the 15. Trevor Keith, though, a little over-under, trying to get back on the attack here. He got stuck to the outside, though, going into the S's, so he'll fall down to 8th for now. Also up at the front of the field, Rob Roeder has some company here as Jeremy Burns has caught him for the race lead, and Carter Lynch is right there in tow. 3 cars all under a blanket here coming out of 7. This is for the race lead.
Playing the patience game. Little cat and mouse. Got 2 corners left here. It's all over the back bumper of Rob Roeder.
We know, like, this is still very early on in this race, but next time around, we'll already be halfway through this opening stage. That's just how quickly it goes at a place like a road course when there's not that many laps to burn in the first place. So, you know, if they are going for that stage win and the extra points that come with it, you know, gotta keep yourself in striking distance here over the next couple laps. But looks like now 2nd and 3rd falling back just a touch. And that's the thing with these road courses. There's a lot of ebb and flow, a lot of give and take. You know, gain a 10th here, lose a 10th there. It's a matter about stringing together consecutive good corners is how you end up getting up to someone and then making that pass.
Warptia in the chat. Thank you again for 4 months of Vspeed Fast Pass and also $1.99 sent our way. We appreciate that. Bad news for you though, Tia. Tyler Harrison had problems on lap 1 through the S's. Got clipped by the 27 coming back on the track. He is back in 30th position right now. Not looking too good right now for the 45. Thankfully, there is a caution for the stage, and he should be able to get back up there closer to the rest of the field and hopefully get back in the top 10. As for the lead, while we were looking at that, 9 of Burns got around the 53 of Roeder.
I'll take a look here, going up into turn 1. Just a great run down the straightaway, really dove it to the inside there of the 53. About as late as he could to make that move. 53 slides coming out of the corner. Wasn't able to get the throttle back down. That spot, he's going to go to Burns all the way. And this is how he gets you at these road courses. This is why he's won 9 of the past 10 on the road. Simply that consistency and being able to be in the perfect position to capitalize whenever you make a mistake. So he now sets sail with some clean air and a couple laps to go before the stage. Linz and Roeder battling for second. Here's Trevor Keith and Michael Bennett once again for that 6th spot.
And remember, I mean, we've talked about it a few times, but the highlight reel, you know, door banging at Watkins Glen. Trevor Keith looked like he was going to be the next driver, or the first driver to win outside of Burns at a road course. And, you know, on that final lap, you remember what happened. Now, struggling a little bit here tonight at COTA, but I think situationally for the 15, he's probably just as fast as these leaders. I think he's putting up pretty similar times to Rob Roeder and Carter Lynch. But he got trailed because of that spin there at the top of the hill. So I think after the caution, we'll start to talk more about Trevor Keith and what he's capable of.
I believe so. I believe the other person we'll find that with is probably the 66 of Carter Linz. Him and Burns put on a barn burner at Sonoma last year, came down to a little bit of contact with about 2 laps to go. Ultimately, the 66 lost that exchange, had to settle for, I believe, a podium finish, but was not the victor of that one. That was the 9. So we've seen drivers come and go and challenge 9, but time and time again, it seems like Burns on these road courses is the guy that you need to find a way to guilt him into a mistake, which is so rare at these road courses. So that'll be an interesting thing to watch here as we continue to get further into this one. There's the onboard with your current race leader, Jeremy Burns in the 9. Currently half a second clear of Rob Raeder.
I don't know about you, but I'd be sweating a lot more around this place. About 3 weeks ago, on a Thursday as a fill-in driver, had 0 practice, and only been on the track one other time. This place is hard. This is probably the hardest road course.
Yeah, it is. It is a road course that is beautifully put together for a car that is far more nimble than what these stock cars are asked to do with it here. This course is designed for things with, downforce and open air cockpits, and these cars have neither, which makes it all the more fun, but all the more challenging trying to wrestle it around this place. We've seen some of these guys have a lot of success with it. As the 13's around. Al Likens at the top of turn 1.
The 9 just made a mistake, and Burns as well, as we jump over to Likens, but Burns just went out wide and got Rob Raeder to the inside there.
That he did. It brought him right back into the picture as well. Take a look here real quick at the replay with Likens. I think a little bit of contact there with the 88 of Sirkovich. But yeah, no, a couple things that happened at once there, just as we had seen that bit of a tough set of corners there for the 9, brought the 53 right back to him.
If we can dial that back up, there's the moment that the 9 went wide.
Yeah, had to reel it all the way back in, and the gap that he had established of about 0.7 of a second plummeted to about 0.2. And Raeder is very much still hot on his heels with, I believe, now 2 laps to go in the opening stage. They are putting on a show as Raeder dives to the inside. Aggressive move. Burns trying to go back to the other way. Oh, they're going to be side by side through the S's here.
They're going to stay side by side through the whole portion. Raeder thinks better of it, lets the 9 of Burns move in front of him there. But man, he had a lot of momentum coming up that hill. I thought he was going to lock it up.
Yeah, he certainly did, but Burns really wise, getting out of the throttle early, getting that car to rotate before the 53 so he could get down back on the throttle way sooner than Raeder could. So even though he had lost that track position, was able to get a lot of it back by the time they got to the S's. And that was, I think, a bit of a generous move there from the 53 to give him the right of way going into the S's. I think if this is 2 laps to go in the race as opposed to the stage, it's very different. As now Raeder back to the inside here. Oh, and he lost it. Raeder loses it going through, I believe that's turn 11. He had made the pass for the lead, couldn't get the back tires to stick. And he's going to lose a host of positions here just before the end of the stage.
And I believe, yeah, I think everybody missed him. I thought maybe Dakota Floyd was going to get a piece of that. But now you can put Floyd up to P3.
You certainly can. Parker Johnston has been on his back bumper the entire run here. He's looking for that podium spot of the stage. Meanwhile, Nick Alves, Michael Reed, this is that battle for 15th. Alves went for a spin in the S's on the opening lap of the race. This has been a big rebound here for the 24 to get back into the middle of the pack here by the end of the stage.
Still got 5 positions to gain, though, if you want stage points. 24 going to take it out a little bit wide. Reed wider than that. They'll continue to battle here for the 15th position.
This is going to be the battle for the stage win here. Burns, Linz. Throwback to what we saw several times last year, battling between these two. The gap about a third of a second right now.
I can tell you this, if Burns makes a mistake like he did earlier in the hairpin, and it looks like he did okay this time, let's say Linz will absolutely capitalize on it.
Yeah, absolutely. So they'll make their way through the stadium section there. Looks like no problem this time around for the 9. Only a couple more corners to go here to settle that one out. Remember, the caution will come out when the top 10 have crossed the line here to complete the 10th lap. Burns, Linz, coming off of 16. Looks like the 9's going to have it. And he will beat the 66 of Linz to the stripe by only about a quarter of a second. As the rest of the top 10 going to try to come across the line here, and that should do it pretty shortly for the opening stage here at COTA.
Stage 1 winner, as long as our information is correct here.
There it is. The caution is out. The stage has concluded. So there are your top 10. Jeremy Burns gets the stage win over Carter Linz. Coda Floyd, Parker Johnson, Rob Rader, your top 5 ahead of Trevor Keith, Michael Bennett, Kyle Stewart, Ben Laughter, and Matt Robinson will all pick up some stage points here for the first road course of the season. And I tell you what, short sample size, Bradley, but the opening 10 laps got a decent bit of action right up here battling for that lead.
Oh, yeah, I went back and forth several times here. And just, 10 laps, imagine what it's going to look like when we get 25 laps on these tires. I'm a little concerned for Burns. He's made a few mistakes. He's shown that he's human here today, and I'm not sure if I'm used to that.
I don't know if he's used to that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, absolutely not. He's had pressure on him the whole time. Back and forth with Rob Rader, who, you talk about mistakes. He made 2 of them in 1 lap. So ultimately, trying to get that lead backfires on him. And that's going to set him back to the 5th spot here at the stage when he probably could have got 2nd place, if not a top 3. Dakota Floyd going to get that top 3.
Yeah, I'll say worst case scenario, he would have been top 3. But then that spin drops from the 5th. Honestly, could have been a lot worse. Could have lost a lot more positions. Was doing a really good job recovering and rallying back, so didn't end up losing a ton of track position. But yeah, an exciting first stage. And, if the opening start to this race is any indicator, the restart that comes out of, this age caution has an opportunity to be potentially a decider in this race. Maybe not necessarily for the win, but of who we're going to be talking about in contention for the win, because we lost a lot of cars very quick in this race on that opening lap.
Yeah, you can still see some of those cars trying to catch back up to the tail end of this field. You've got Sam Taylor, who is still a solid 27 seconds away from the rest of this field. Michael Reed catching up as well. You have Nick Alves, the separation between 10th, 11th spot all the way back to 34th with Christopher Schaefer 1 lap down. But then you had Joe Joya, who was a minute behind, going to get the wave around. He was actually a lap down. Daniel Holloway, Tyler Harrison. I believe Harrison might have came down pit road already. No, he did not. I thought maybe he had come in to get some service. So looks like problems again for the 45 at some point during that run.
Yeah, it's just showing the big spread. And if you want to see some cars with some battle damage, the 27 of Kevin Orlando, boy, is he going to be happy to try to get some of that car repaired here under the stage caution. That thing has already been through a war. We're only a quarter of the way through this race.
That, of course, started on lap 1 where that 27 clipped the side of the 45. Picked up heavy damage on that right front. 44 went around. 55 of Richie at the top of the hill.
Yeah, the 87 also caught up in that. I mean, they had a lot of cars who got caught up in that initial incident. It was a crazy start to this one. But looks like now a lot of the field getting grouped back together, and the pace car getting pretty close to pit road entry to what should be a very busy time on pit road here, as it might be the only time you're guaranteed to stop down here under yellow flag conditions. So big opportunity here for the field. Don't want to overshoot your box. Don't want to speed down pit road here. This is, for all intents and purposes, the money stop just because it's the only one you think you're going to get. So got to make it count.
.45-mile-per-hour pit road speed limit as Jeremy Burns leads them in for what should be a 4-tire call this point in the race. But I've been wrong before.
Yeah, we'll see if anyone tries anything crazy here. Whole field basically down in their box at this point. Right side's going down, left side's going up. All right, looks like everyone, at least in the front part of the field here, with a 4-tire stop. And Jeremy Burns going to win the race off of pit road over Carter Lins and Dakota Floyd. Rob Roeder will gain a spot on pit road. He jumps Parker Johnson there for the 4th spot.
So it'll be Jeremy Burns leading them for the next set of corners for stage number 2. Don't go anywhere, though. We have plenty of racing left to be done. Plenty of season left to happen. Racing Revolution in the Chapman Cup Series. We'll be right back here on Vspeed.
JS Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Hey Dad, did you know that replacing your cooling system reduces repair costs and improves energy efficiency? Plus, it operates more efficiently, which means more money in my pocket. I mean, your pocket. Hey Dad, did you know that a new cooling system is less noisy and has a smart thermostat you can control from your phone?
How'd you get so smart?
Must be from Mom.
When it comes to your home's most important decisions, make the smart choice and trust your local Cedar Rapids Pro partner. We're in your neighborhood, so call today.
JS Racing. We're in the game.
Welcome back to our live coverage at Circuit of the Americas West. And tell you what, Racing Revolution has not disappointed us at all so far. Jeremy Burns, Carter Lins, Rob Roeder dueled it out for the lead to start this one off. Ultimately, it was Jeremy Burns who got stage 1 victory. Only caution here this evening. It should be the only caution here all race long for stage 1 break. Coming at lap number 10. But we're going to go back green on lap 15. Of course, Alex Gagnon and Bradley Cooper up here giving you flag-to-flag coverage. Alex, so far so good for this one.
Yeah, so far so good. A lot of action up front, some decent battles through the middle of the field that we've got a chance to check in on. Only comment really so far would be we'll see if this restart goes better than the opening green flag of the race, because that was a really physical opening half a lap. A lot of cars got sent off track. We'll see if they've settled in a little bit here on this restart or if it'll be more of the same.
Of course, that stab at the lead, a mistake made by Rob Roeder. He's able to gain one position back here ahead of Parker Johnston after those pit stops. So he will be on the right-hand side of Dakota Floyd here for this restart as we approach the final portion of this racetrack. Of course, Jeremy Burns has put on a clinic in these past 5 seasons. Looking forward to seeing if he can do that again here this evening. I've watched the 9 kind of struggle as of late with speed and consistency, and I think a lot of it has to do with his participation in the collegiate iRacing esports series. I don't know if you feel the same way, Alex, but ever since he started doing that full time, it seems like he's not been as fast everywhere we go.
Yeah, and I think, that's a matter of just spreading yourself across multiple endeavors, with anything. If you're focusing on one thing, you may not have time for another, but that, he's still fast. He's still a dangerous contender at times, maybe just not at all times like we've seen in seasons past. I think this is very much a scenario where he's still probably the guy to beat, and someone has to go out there and prove it because he's been so good at these road courses as the pace car has peeled off. Field stacked up 2 by 2 in the restart zone. Here we go. Burns and Linz back at it, going up the hill into turn 1.
Stage 2 with the 9 on the inside going up the hill. Carter Linz got ahead of him.
That he did. Linz has grabbed the lead here in 1. Late braking for the 66 has got him that spot. Meanwhile, they are 7 wide. I don't know. They are all over the place coming out of 1, trying to sort this thing out into the S's. Honestly, so far so good from the early looks of things. Looks like they've all gotten through here relatively unscathed from what I'm seeing.
87's going to go off the racetrack. That's Pomatat that... he did a good job. Oh, check up here with the 3 car, and they're going to squeeze with the 55 of Richie, the 27 of Orlando.
Got it relatively sorted out, though. They're okay for the most part. Oh, Kyle Stewart off here, coming up the backstretch.
Grant Thorpe off the racetrack as well.
So the 10 trying to get going here. Grant Thorpe trying to get back up to speed. Kyle Stewart got way out in the gravel. Take another look at this.
Oh, he locked it.
Wow,
up.
He went flying in there. I'm trying to figure out who he took with him. I think that was maybe Parker Johnston.
Yeah.
Oh, man, he's got some serious damage. That's particularly tough because he had been so fast in the early going of this one. Take a look at the 10. He goes to make this move on Laughter, and the brakes just lock up big time. Shades of Kyle Larson and Ty Dillon at the Indy Road Course a couple of years ago.
And now cycling for lap 16. First lead change of stage 2 happened up the hill on that restart, and now it's going back to the 9 of Burns. He's going to get to the left-hand side of Linz.
Turnabout's fair play. Linz got it going up in the 1. Last lap, Burns gets it going up in the 1 on this lap. Rob Roeder laying away in that 3rd spot. He got past Dakota Floyd. We'll see if Linz is anything for the 9 here as they look to the inside of 6, now going into 7. Here they go down the shortened back straightaway here at COTA in this west side design. And they'll go through turn 8. All things look good there for now. Rob Roeder going to try to make this a 3-horse race for the lead, though. He's right on the back bumper. Carter Linz actually gives him a bit of a tag there in the 9.
Linz in the 66 just got a little touch there. A little bit of damage on the front of the 53 as well. Not sure if that came from that instance or not.
Yeah, not sure, but you can see it there. That right front just a little marked up. Dakota Floyd working his way back into the picture as well. And with these road courses, especially just after the restart when not everything's super fanned out, going to make a pass on someone, you got to be confident you can make it stick. Because if you don't, you're going to end up losing that time. You're going to heat up your tires, and it's going to allow that car that's been laying, about half second behind you to get right to your back bumper and try to make some noise and take that spot from you. So you got to be really careful when you're trying to make these passes when everyone's all stacked up like this. You see the 66 of Lynn's not able to keep the streak going here of switching the lead into turn 1, but he was right there on the back bumper of Burns as they worked their way back down now through the S's.
Going back here to Sam Taylor. Caleb Gilbert lock up into the 39s around.
It's a tough place to be sideways up there. Trying to get it back onto the racetrack, he will.
They're racing hard up the hill. 88 and the 3. They just overshot the corner.
Yeah. Sam Taylor locks up the brakes in the 1, sliding into the corner, tags the 39. Around goes Grant Turner. And we've seen that happen a couple times already here since this restart. People driving into the corner just a little too hot, brakes lock up, and they just cannot get the car slowed down. And they've had a couple of unsuspecting victims here. As Caleb Gilbert to the inside of Sam Taylor, trying to make that pass. Might be able to do it here. They were 3 wide coming off of 8. And in the 9 now, double file.
Gonna go, oh, 21, Candyman's around. Spun the tires coming off the corner.
Yeah, Holloway was trying to get back onto the throttle, spun the tires a touch, and Justin Ritchie was right there, gave him a pretty decent shot, and around goes the 21. Seeing a lot of these cars really starting to struggle with the handling here, whether it's brakes locking up or wheel spin, or just the car not rotating the way they want it to. It's been a frustrating one for sure for some of these guys as we are on board here with the 33 of Dylan Picklesheimer.
Picklesheimer riding in the 9th position. Started all the way back at 19th here today. So that's a lot of spots gained in a short amount of time. One of the biggest movers on the racetrack, right next to Michael Reed, who's gained 17 spots on top of that.
Yeah, it's been a great drive for Reed, who's gone from 30th to 13th. Obviously, Picklesheimer is up 10, and as far as other some big movers maybe to keep an eye on within the top 10 here. Ben Laughter is up from 12th to 6th, so he's starting to make some headway here toward the front of the field as well. Let's take a look here. There is the 64, up 6 spots now, running in that 6th position. And there is the 91 of Michael Reed, who's up 17. He went from 30th now to 13th. Still has a little bit of work to do to get into the top 10, but he is really putting together a strong run here as we near the halfway point of this race.
Reed looks good. He's got speed. He's about a second off the pace of the top 10, but he could be conserving his tires a little bit here for the later runs. So looking good so far for the 91 machine. John Fike would be about 3 seconds ahead, though, at the tail end of this group, with Nick Alves and Justice Murphy. This is 10th through 12th spot as Alves will look left.
Yeah, Nick Alves has had a lot of speed, but I don't know if we've really had a chance to appreciate it here today because he got marred so far back early on in this race from the wrecks that happened on the opening lap in the S's. But he has rebounded in a big way here, battling for a spot inside the top 10. He's just trying to find a way around that bright yellow number 12 right now as they're going through the S's down into turn 6. Doesn't look like the move's going to happen this time around, but he's been applying a lot of pressure to Murphy over the past couple laps here.
Fike right there in the background in case one of these two drivers make a mistake racing side by side through the S's. Fike could gain 2 spots and end up in the top 10. Looks like the 91 to Reed was able to break away.
Fike, I think, lost it coming off the corner. Maybe he saved it. No, he did save it. Wow. Close call for the 65. That was real close.
It'll be this
They
corner
got a
right
piece
here.
of the curb.
Excellent save. Able to keep that car going in the right direction just enough. He lost some ground, but didn't lose any spots.
Yeah, and that's honestly the best case scenario if you're going to have a mistake here at COTA, is having the mistake not cost you any positions. We're on board here with Matt Robinson, who is maybe in position here to make a move for 7th going up the hill in the 1.
Riding behind Michael Bennett for 7th position. Maybe we're going to see a crossover there from the 11. Did not have the opportunity. 14 defended it well through the S's.
Yeah, I think he definitely thought about it. You can see the amount of focus that the 11's got right now, trying to make sure this car is running, putting that car exactly where it needs to be, corner after corner. Place like COTA, especially in the front half of the course, when you're working through the S's, you don't really have a second to breathe until you get to this back straightaway. So there's a lot of sections of this track that are very technical, that really force you to concentrate. And I think we were seeing that there with Robinson as he locked it up a little bit, but that actually got him to the inside of the 14, going in the 8. Not quite going to be able to capitalize. That almost worked out for him, but that also, if he locked up any worse, could have been really bad.
Yeah, that lockup prevented him from getting back to the throttle when he wanted to. He had the pass there, was able to get to the inside, just not able to drive off of that turn. And that's because the front tires were not going the direction he wanted them to go.
Now, and even though it only cost him, a split second, that's all it takes to not have enough time to get, moving again, and allowed Bennett to hold that advantage. So we continue to see these two battle. Dylan Picklesheimer working into the picture as well. Meanwhile, this is the battle up front, and nothing's really changed. Jeremy Burns still has the lead, and Carter Linz has been right there every step of the way since they got this sorted out about 5 laps ago. Burns and Linz right now, the gap about a half second, fluctuating anywhere between 0.3 and 0.6 of a second here. It's been an interesting battle to watch, trying to see these two sort this one out.
Well, I'll remind everyone that in stage 1...
Oh, Michael Reed's around to turn 1. Looks like he got it going, but locked it up big time. Back end kicked around on him, and all that progress that he made, he just lost a bunch of it. He was up 17 spots. I think he just lost 6 or 7 of them right there.
Yeah.
And now he scored
8
first position.
8 positions lost. Another car around. That's Fike again in the 65.
And that's the same corner that got him last time. Turn 8 proving to be a tricky one right now for the 65. He's had a couple of corners now, or he's had a couple of laps now in that corner where he's had some issues. First one didn't bite him too much. That one did cost him a spot as Al Likens is going to slide on by. You jump on board there. There's the 81 of Munoz trying to work their way up to the 87 of Pamitat. These two, I believe, are teammates battling for a position here, 13th and 14th.
Munoz has done a fantastic job. 9 positions gained from 23rd. But I was just about to mention it, and I'll try this again. Jeremy Burns is down to 0.2 now for the lead. But this was about the window where the 9 started to make mistakes in stage 1. It was around that 8 to 9 lap mark, and that's where we are now on this second stage. Burns starting to struggle at times. In the first probably 3 or 4 corners, he's given up a lot of ground to the 66 and the 53.
And it's an interesting dichotomy because last year this would be a scenario where we were like, oh, Burns has the lead. The longer this run goes, the more it's going to favor him because he's just that steady, that consistent. But to your point, with a couple of issues there in the opening stage, as we got a little deeper into the run, does raise the question of will we see that again? So definitely no lead safe at the moment, as the top 3 all within a second and a half. Michael Reed is beached again. I want to say it's at the exit of turn 6. just at the bottom of the S's. That's a dangerous place to be stuck sideways. Back onto the racetrack here, but things have really come unglued for the 91.
He had help
Oh,
this time.
he had help that time. The 88 is Sirkovich, right to the right rear going into 6. That is not what you want to see. I think the 88 locked it up a little bit, which has been a running theme here tonight.
Yeah, there's just no room there. There's no room there.
I
He's
believe
looking
that's
to the
what
inside.
I must say, I believe that's what the road racing aficionados call the vortex of danger. That little 45-degree cone of where, if you had, a passenger car where the rear view or the side view mirror would tell you what's there, these cars don't have that. And if you're sitting in that little blind spot, no one's going to have any idea that you're there, especially lunging into a corner. So that's a tough situation here as we're just nearing the halfway point.
Rob Roeder has caught up to Carter Lenz. Lenz is losing a little bit of ground to Jeremy Burns. Remember, Rob Roeder started in the 2nd position. Lenz was your pole sitter, and Jeremy Burns has taken it away. So the top 3 have stayed the same pretty much all day. So look at your 4th place driver, Dakota Floyd in the 57. And then you go back to 5th with Trevor Keith, another 2 seconds back from him. Ben Lapter in the 64. Solid day so far. There's a lap car in between him and Trevor Keith. He's about 4 seconds off here.
It's a tough day to evaluate. If you feel like if you're Ben Laster, you've made up some positions. You're now just outside the top 5. Top 5 is very feasible if someone makes a mistake here, but obviously compared to the leaders here, you're 12 seconds back, and that number is only continuing to grow, which is a easier said than done amount of distance to try to make up. See a nice little lunge there from 64. He'll clear the lap car, Christopher Schaefer. And he gets back on the path here to try to reel in the 15 of Trevor Keith. And that is our onboard here with the 64 of Ben Laughter.
At some point they put billboards up on that back of the S's, and I'll try to avoid that camera as much as possible here this evening, but it is kind of a cinematic shot. I do like the look of that. A lot of details here on iRacing. I mean, just such a big facility. I don't know how you can even make it work. There's just so much going on at this place.
There is certainly a lot going on at this place. I mean, it's just a massive track, and we're only using about 2/3 of it, which just gives a real indicator to how big this place is. So you're coming down the straightaway here, a couple of cars back in the field. I want to say that's Daniel Holloway and Parker Johnston coming on by. This time by, we will be halfway through this race. Jeremy Burns with the advantage, 5/10 the gap over Carter Lenz. Rob Roeder about a second behind them, and the 3 of them, I mean, they've talked about it a good bit tonight, but they have been, to this point, the class of the field. And they've kept each other honest. You know, if any one of these 3 makes a mistake, they've been right there to capitalize. We saw it with Burns, we saw it with Lenz, we've seen it with Roeder, especially with that spin over in 11. I mean, this is one of those races where if they keep running this close to one another, it's just going to be who blinks first is going to end up probably 3rd of these 3.
When you have the talent here, the lack of mistakes, and these guys are going to match each other's pace, I would say, all the way to the end of this race. However, 50% fuel, I think they're going to have to come down pit road one time under green.
Yeah, I'll do a quick check on that. I do not remember off the top of my head. Oh, that's right. I only have fuel mileages for ovals. So I would believe it, though, with the way this race has been going. I would not be shocked if they do need to come down for a quick top off here toward the back half of this race because it is a lot of miles. You know, it's not a whole lot of laps, but it's a lot of miles that they're taking away. We jump on board here. This is Sam Taylor, Fred Pennington. Battle for 28th on the racetrack, but doesn't make the spot any less important here as you see Pennington really wheeling that thing, trying to hold on to that spot.
And he's fully themed out here. He's got his Josh Berry apparel. He's also in that Wood Brothers theme, number 30, the Kinder Morgan. Get a good look at that real quick while we have a chance. So, and Ford Motor, I believe that says Motorcraft on the top of that hat there.
I believe so. Yeah. You know, looking at this, and you know, it's a real mystery to me who he might be pulling for this weekend.
Yeah. Not a clue. Not a clue.
Pennington, though, it's been an uphill battle for him. You know, he got caught up in one of those lap one S's incidents and has been trying to kind of recover from that ever since. Easier said than done. I think that car might have a little bit of damage, just costing it a little bit of speed here. So he continues to forge on, about a minute off the pace of the race leader right now. Let's take a look here. I believe this is Grant Turner making his way up the racetrack, who's had a very adventurous night as well. A couple of lockups and wiped out by a couple of lockups already at this point.
Yeah, and Grant Turner definitely had some speed there to run top 20. Started 24th and worked his way up there close to, I believe it was 21st, if not 20th position. And then the three of Sam Taylor just cleaned his clock. I mean, there's no other way to put it.
Not really. That's it was tough. He came in with a full head of steam, and there was nowhere for Grant Turner to go. He ended up getting the worst of that, but you know, continues to forge on here. There's the onboard here with Grant in his number 39 machine.
Now, I could say probably some damage on this car. It's not handling as it should.
No, certainly doesn't seem like it. I mean, he is really putting a lot of wheel into this thing to try to get it to rotate. Nice little salute there from Grant. Always appreciated.
Right on the front stretch next time, Grant. Whoa. Don't lose it. Hold on to it, buddy.
Big save. Big moment, big save there for the 39.
He needed two hands for that one.
Yeah. You could see how quick the reflexes were, though. The moment that car started stepping out on him, he was right there to recollect it. But dicey moment there.
Yeah, it's definitely got damage. It's not handling as it should at all. You can see it knocking up, stepping out. It's fighting him.
Yeah, but he's fighting it back. He's doing a good job. You know, this is one of those days where a 25th may not really indicate the amount of work that went into even getting that far, you know? Because, I mean, he is really working that thing to keep it there.
Yeah. And watching this battle for the 7th position heat back up, it was kind of quiet there for a little while. It spread back out to over half a second. Matt Robinson and Michael Bennett have went back and forth. And look who's joined the party. Dylan Picklesheimer in the 33, now on the back porch.
Yeah, he's right there taking the back, look to the back bumper, the 11. He's within a couple tenths. Robinson's within a couple tenths of Bennett. These three really been going at it here. And to your point, it's kind of been a hot and cold situation. They have about a lap where they're really kind of in position to make something happen. Then a couple laps go by where they're just a little too far back. Everyone's kind of single file, and then they get right back at it. Robinson, though, a great exit off the final corner. He's going to have a lot of momentum. He is right there as they work their way up the hill. Does he try to make a move in the one? Does Picklesheimer try to make a move in the one? Doesn't seem like it this time, but man, they were lockstep there, and the 33 had a little bit of trouble getting the power down. It's going to cost him just a little bit as Robinson's still glued to the back of Bennett.
Keep an eye on this battle here, at least for another lap. Because how quickly it can change here at COTA. One lockup and a position can be lost. And if you're Michael Bennett right now, a lockup could cost you two in one corner. Continue to watch the 14. Looks like the pressure's on into this more technical part of the racetrack.
Yeah, and you see, this is where you really got to make something happen here. Try to get a little bit of separation, because the 11 will have a bit of draft going up the front stretch in the 1 if he's close enough out of that final corner. So you got to open up the gap a little bit here for Bennett. Easier said than done, but right now these three going at it. And the other thing to keep an eye on, I would love to see if we could throw it up on the screen, the last lap time for each of these guys, because I'm trying to figure out if people are starting to reel each other in. Wow, Nick Al's flying 4.4 seconds around this racetrack.
I was gonna ask if you had saw that. He's been blinking. He's been having a connection issue.
Yeah.
And yeah, that is, no one's gonna touch that.
No. new hot lap of the day there for Nick Al's. But now I was wondering, because Al's has gotten around Justice Murphy at this point, so he's starting to potentially reel him in here.
No,
54 still seems really unlikely. Okay, there we go, 140.7, but that is faster than what these guys in front of him are running. So if this battle keeps up and they slow each other down in any way, that is going to allow the 24 to kind of get into the mix here. He's still a couple seconds back, but just something to keep an eye on here as we're watching this battle for 7th through 9th, in case they take a little too much time trying to let this battle come into its own.
There's another battle on the racetrack for you. It's Grant Thorpe, who just got past Alex Forget Marube. And there's Jeremiah Nelson. This is 17th through 19th position. Thorpe just got past.
Yeah, it's a good little battle going on here. Nelson trying to hold off the 19, as well as the 77 as they make their way down the S's in the 6th. Inside line there for the 31. 19 looks like he carried a decent bit of speed into 6, maybe through 7. Does he have a place to take it, though, is the question as they dive here into 8. Not this time around, but Forget, you can tell he's looking. He's trying to find where that run's going to come.
Another battle on the racetrack as well, just ahead of these drivers. It's the 13 of Al Likens. He was all over the back bumper of Michael Call coming out of the final 2 corners.
Yeah, Al Likens has had a bit of an up and down day. We saw him go around briefly earlier in this one. But at the end of the day, he is still up 14 spots. He's gone from 28th to 14th as they run. So it's been a pretty solid day for the 13 as things sit here on lap number 30. Just trying to bring this thing home, trying to get another spot here as he's trying to chase down Michael Call. As Rob Roeder maybe had a look there going into 7th against Carter Linz. Nothing going just yet, but if you look at the lap times right now, he was faster than Linz that last time around. Maybe starting to put a little bit of pressure here on the 66.
But I think it would probably hinder them if they started racing side by side right now.
Oh, Nelson's around at the top of turn 1. We were just watching that battle, and now he is sideways, or was sideways. He just got going. Oh, Forget lost it and just was right there. Caught the 31 in a vulnerable place. They were trying to get back on the throttle there.
And in the aftermath, Tyler Harrison gained 3 spots out of that.
Now there's someone who I'm sure will be happy to take it after the way his race started. Starting to finally climb back up the leaderboard here as the 45. Still a long way to go for him, but inside the top 20 now, which is more than you could say for the majority of the front half of this race.
Grant Thorpe and Alex Forget, who just made contact at the top of the hill, battling back and forth. Here comes the 10 of Kyle Stewart to the inside. Top 20 for the 10 car now. Then Laughter down pit road. That confirms it for me.
Yep, Trevor Keith down as well. Green flag pit stops here with just under 20 laps to go. Pennington there goes Floyd down and away. 14.7 seconds, makes me think 4 tires and fuel there for the 57. Looks to be the same here for Trevor Keith. Seems to be the call here for a lot of these guys, Bradley, is a full service here with less than 20 to go.
.44 down. Here's most of the field with Likens, Pamatat, Harrison in as well. Gilbert. Look at Harrison's machine. Gilbert getting service. Nick Alves going to come in probably next time by. There's Justice Murphy. Dakota Floyd back out on the racetrack. He'll cycle probably back to the top 5, but at the moment, there's the top 3 entering the pit lane. Altogether,
This is big. This is big. Gotta capitalize on pit road here. If you make a mistake, that could do it for your chance of winning this one.
no speeding penalties so far in this cycle of green flag pit stops. No one slips the box. It looks like they're going to come out nose to tail here in just a moment. On the way there
Right
for
side.
the 3 car.
Looks
What
like it was
tires?
maybe a little bit of a slow stop for the 53. It seemed like he just lost a little bit of space compared to those two. As the 9 and the 66 down on the way, back in the turn 1 they go, merging into traffic. This is always the tough part when you're the leaders here and you pit before everyone is pit. You're going to be cycling through with a lot of slower race cars. Got to be able to navigate them without taking yourself out here.
And the 11
look at that.
Robinson trying to pass on pit road. Still can't get around the 14.
Oh, he's going to probably really send it in the 1 here, just try to make something happen. Nothing going, though, as they make their way down to the S's. Boy, even through pit road, this battle was not going to let up between Robinson and Bennett. They have been running basically nose to tail since we got going again after the stage caution. And Picklesheimer not too far behind him either.
Remember, cold tires. Going to take a lap here for these tires to heat up enough to get back to the marks you were running earlier in this race. Robinson knew that, said, well, there's no reason to go through the S's side by side. Let these tires warm back up. I'll go back to it.
Yeah, the last thing you want to do is get a little over ambitious, make a move you're going to regret, because there's still a lot of time left in this race. You know, 16 laps at Martinsville might only be a blink of an eye. 16 laps here at COTA, I mean, we're still talking about at least, 20, 25 minutes with these minute 40 lap times. So they got plenty of time to get back on the horse here and really make something happen as we're watching this battle for the lead. Basically, all of the leaders have cycled through at this point. Leaves Burns still out front. He's about a second-ish clear of Carter Linz. Rob Rader about a half second back of the 66. And Dakota Floyd well back behind these 3 now. It is truly probably going to be these 3 on the podium. The question now, Bradley, is just going to be in which order.
Well, based off of the consistency we've seen so far from Jeremy Burns, I think he's cleaned it up. He's figured out this car. And I think part of it, too, is the track temperature has come down a little bit from where we started. We started off at 93 degrees. 3 degrees isn't that big of a difference, but it does help in certain parts of this racetrack.
Yeah, it's one of those adjustments that, you may not feel it a ton, but lap over lap, you're going to feel the fact that the tires are not heating up as aggressively over the course of the long run. Gives you a little bit more tire wear, which allows you to really kind of put the car where you want it more times before you're going to start noticing any handling issues. And that definitely favors a car that's running in clean air that can already get their pick of where they want to put the race car, because it helps them execute that much more. So things turning up pretty good right now for the 9 as they make their way down through the final corner. Back onto the front stretch. Carter Linz, though, closes the gap a little bit here. He was about 8/10 back in the 1 last time. It's going to be about 4/10 going in the 1 this time. Working through some lap traffic there in Holloway. Kyle Stewart, a bit of an up and down day as well. We've seen him in the gravel. We've seen him lock up the brakes big time. We've also seen him at times have a decent bit of pace, just a matter of trying to see the latter more than the former here, as he's currently running in that 18th spot. You can see some damage to the right side of that car. As Rob Roeder now looking to the outside for a moment of the 66, looking maybe to do a little over-under here into 9. Not the first time we've seen it. Oh, he does it again. I think the 53 is starting to run low on patience here. At least it certainly feels like it. We've seen 2 different times he's hit him on this lap. I think that's the 3rd or 4th time that we've been watching this battle where the 53 is giving a little heads up to the back bumper of the 66. Linz is right there, though, as they're going to make their way through 16. Look at these 3, man. Half a second separating the top 3 with just like 15 laps to go.
Well, Alex, I think it's pretty safe to say we're on trend for last season, continuing it.
It certainly feels like it. Is Roeder going to take a peek to the inside here, takes a look for a second, and he's going to grab it. Carter Linz looking back to the outside, trying to put the hammer down. Don't think he's going to get there in time, though, so Rob Roeder takes that 2nd place spot away, and now he can set his eyes on teammate Jeremy Burns. As they work through the S's, the 53 roaring through him. Gets right to the back bumper of the 9. Little bit of contact after the lockup from the 9. Oh, man, it is all out in play now. I think part of it's the 9 getting caught up in some traffic here behind the 27 of Kevin Orlando Jr. And now the leaders trying to sort their way through this one, splitting the defense.
27 and 19 were battling for position as they let those cars by, and the 27 of Orlando ends up gaining a little bit there. The 19 had to take the short on the corner as we watch another attempt at the lead.
Yeah, I mean, tell you what, Rob Roeder, that car has really come to life here after the pit cycle. Got around Carter Linz, is right to the back bumper now of teammate Jeremy Burns. To your left, you see Jeremy. To the right, you see what's the rear view camera seeing for the 9, and that is just a mirror full of the 53 right now. Good set of corners, though, for the 9. Opened up that gap a little bit.
Here's the chance. I think Roeder, if he can get a good exit off this corner, he doesn't.
Yeah, I think he was close enough a couple corners prior, but that sequence was about 13 to 16. That really was a good set of corners for Burns in the 9. Opened up that gap another 3-4 car lengths and gave him the separation he needed. His own wheel spin for the 53 might cost him here as Linz is trying to get to the back bumper now.
Just like this battle has never ended, neither has this one. They've gained on Ben Laughter.
Yeah, about to say, instead of 7th, 8th, 9th, it's now 6th, 7th, 8th. Is Ben Laughter going to have some cars to battle for position for the first time in about 20 laps, I'd say. We'll see how he handles the pressure here. Is Bennett and Robinson, I have a feeling they're not going to cut him any breaks, so they're busy battling each other as they have been basically since the drop of the green flag here today. And this is for 6th, 7th, and 8th as they make their way through the S's into turn 6.
Bennett looking left, looking right. Robinson locks up the wheels a little bit there, but gains a lot of time.
Yeah, this is a good battle going on, and just a little bit up the road here is where you see the 15 of Trevor Keith. So this might become a 4-car battle for the 5th spot here if the 15's not careful. He's only about a second and a half clear of this battle right now. And he is seeing this starting to unfold in the rearview mirror.
Al Stewart got by Caleb Gilbert there just a moment ago. They were battling. Still going on here for the 16th position and catching up to Munoz at the 15th spot. It's about 7/10. Like you mentioned earlier, Stewart shows pace, and he's about 2 seconds faster than the 81 right now. Last time by.
Yeah, he's showing a lot of speed right now. It's just a matter of keeping all 4 wheels on the racing surface. When he's been able to do that, he's been really, really quick tonight. See the 81, a little wide there. Going through 8 to 9.
And Munoz is definitely holding his own right now, but I think at some point made a mistake and gave up a lot of time to the 10, the 44. Kyle Stewart faster than Malcolm Simpson, starting to put some ground on him for about 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, that gap's starting to open up a little bit. Simpson and Munoz both teammates, actually. The two of them, as well as Brandon Pamitat in the 87. All of them in the top, say, 17 right now. Stewart thought about making a move in the 1. Didn't quite get it to stick. 81 goes wide, though. A little bit of gravel. And it looks like he'll hold on to the spot for now, but it's getting interesting between these two through the S's. Not a whole lot of room to make a move here. Oh, and Bennett. Oh, that opened the door for Robinson on the inside. Now we're going to be on the outside here. Maybe try to switch it up a little over under the 11. Trying to find his way around Bennett. Bennett went for the move on Laughter. It didn't stick, and Robinson was right there to try to punish the mistake. Not able to do it. All that's happened from all of this is that it's allowed Dylan Picklesheimer to get back into the conversation here to make it a 4-car battle for the... Oh, Bennett's around!
And there's a mistake.
Got back on the throttle too quick. Back end stepped out on him. Man, we were wondering when one of these guys were going to blink because they had been running so well. And it's the 14 of Bennett, just over anxious on the throttle a touch. Loops the car. Going to fall down, I believe, to the 10th position here. Take one more look at it on board with Matt Robinson. You'll just see how close these two came to one another. Heads up and a drive in there from the 11.
Yeah. And it ends up losing 3 positions rather, out of that. Falls back to 10th. Was in 7th.
Very much in a spot, though, where he might be able to reel in Nick Alves for 9th, though. It's only a second between them. But we'll see. He's still in the top 10, but sure frustrated is a way to describe the 14 right now after the unforced error there out of 16.
Kyle Stewart lost some ground to Munoz just a moment ago. Has gained it back here last time by. About a 10th lower than Malcolm Simpson, but 5/10 slower than the 81. This time around, looks like the opposite has happened. Out wide for the 81. This might be the chance.
We'll see. He's trying to look to the inside here, 9 and 10. Looks like that's going to work. He'll take that spot away. And Kyle Stewart going to move up to the 15th spot now.
Oh, 81 ran into the back of it.
That gave him a little bit of a push. 10, though, able to handle that, take it in stride, and has used it to open up a couple car length gap here as they work their way through the back half of this race course.
And when is it going to happen here, Alex? They've been together all race long. 5-6 tenths separating them right now. It could turn into 1 or 2 tenths. When do you make the move?
I think the first thing is you got to get consistently only a couple tenths back. A lap ago, Roeder was about 1.1 seconds back of Burns. He's reeled him in a little bit, partially I think because they were dealing with that lap traffic, but you can only make a move if you're in the position to actually get up alongside them, and right now they have just been a touch off on having the speed necessary to really pull alongside the 9. As we'll see their line, the lap times here as they come across the line. Roeder 2 tenths faster that time around. Lynn's a 10th faster than Burns, so this field is compressing a little bit. Part of that is the lap traffic, and especially as they go deeper into this field and start lapping more and more cars, the cars that they are lapping not only are going to be fighting to stay on the lead lap, but are getting progressively faster as well, because they're starting to lap cars now that are basically just around the top 20. So there's some decent cars they're trying to get around, which is going to be a taller and taller order. It might stack them up a little bit here as the 9 got stacked up for just a second behind Grant Turner. Does that let the 53 get a little bit closer? It does look like he gained about a 10th and a half there.
It's also going to hurt the 66 a little bit here. Lynn's going to still trying to navigate around.
Oh, Burns can't get around the 48. That's going to bring Roeder right there.
Might allow Lenz to get back into this hunt as well.
Certainly might. Parker Johnson does not want to let the 9 go by without a bit of a fight here. Actually, a little bit of contact between the two. That's going to let Roeder get right into the picture here. 3/10 now the gap as they make their way into 15. Oh, he almost lost it though.
And Lynn's just not meeting these lap cars at the right place at the right time. He's had to navigate some weird lines to get around, but back to what we saw just a moment ago, back to about half a second each.
That's been the gap, and that continues to be the gap. The big thing is, though, we can see with this lap traffic, whenever they catch one of these cars, it does force the field to accordion in weird ways. Sometimes you get by them easy and you're able to open up that gap. Sometimes you have a little bit of trouble picking them off, and all of a sudden everything compresses. So if you're Jeremy Burns, if you hit any more lap traffic here in the next couple laps, you really got to be mindful about where you catch those cars on the racetrack and how you can execute those passes as fast as possible. Because even just allowing Parker Johnson to hang around for a couple laps, let Roeder get right back to the back bumper. So we see Harrison and Munoz a little bit slow here, going through 8. Not entirely sure what happened there. Now the Eddie one just lost it a little bit trying to get back on the throttle. Caused the 45 to go for a bit of a joyride through the dirt.
Only reason I knew that happened. This guy right here. The onboard camera. I watched kind of a subtle, I guess, but out the corner of my eye, I just saw a lot of wheel movement that didn't look very predictable. And I was like, well, that doesn't look like it's part of the racetrack.
Sure enough, it was not. Tell you what, though, decent recovery here for Harrison. I know it says he's 3 spots back to where he qualified, but from where he ran that opening stage, this has been a big rebound for the 45.
Absolutely. 17th position after what he's been through, and the start of stage 2 didn't go well for him either. I think I'd take it. I'd aim for a top 15, and I think I'd just take it for the day.
Yeah, I mean, at one point here, just before the halfway point, I want to say he was running in about the 32nd, 33rd position, so getting up to 17th is huge, as this is the battle between Laughter and Alves. Alves has actually taken that spot and has capitalized on it. We've actually seen a bit of a shuffle here in the back half of the top 10. Not only is Alves now passing Laughter for 10th, Justice Murphy has actually worked his way up into the 9th position now. That 12 starting to come on strong here late in the race. Bennett's worked his way back up to 8th, a couple seconds back of Picklesheimer. And Robinson and Keith are 6th and 5th respectively. So a couple of new faces here in the top 10, particularly this 12, who had been just kind of marred just outside the top 10. I feel like a lot of the back half of this one, but now really starting to find a little bit of speed here with the last few laps of this race ticking down.
Battle has kind of subsided here for the lead, but it's still pretty hot for second position. Rob Roeder has not been able to get back that ground he lost on Jeremy Burns after navigating some lap traffic. And I think the biggest kind of gap that grew from that was when they started racing along with the 48 of Parker Johnson. That's when a lot of ground was lost here between Roeder and Burns. And it's kind of gapped Lenz out of the picture, but he has caught back up. So on raw pace, Lenz has caught back up to the 53. Last time by about 4.5 tenths faster.
Yeah, he's been pretty quick. And also notice they haven't really dusted Parker Johnson, he has been as fast as these guys
Yeah.
over the last few laps. I think he had an earlier issue where he got wiped out from someone locking up the brakes, but he's had a really fast race car all day long, was top 5 all of the opening stage, and is putting it to good use right now. Trying to say this mix
There
as
it
Rob
is.
Raeder lost it off of the corner. That's the same one he spun at, trying to take the lead back in the opening stage. Really sent it in there hot that time, trying to hold on to second. Bit of a desperate move, was not going to pan out. I don't even know if Carter Linz blinked during all of that. He takes over the second spot now, and is going to try to put some distance on the 53.
That might settle it there for the top 3. They're pretty spaced out now.
Little bit. We'll see. It's just close enough of a gap between Linz and Raeder where I wouldn't count on it just yet. Just because you never know. Once it gets over a second, would be maybe a little more confident in saying so, but Raeder's close enough where he's hanging around because he's going to get a little bit of this draft here going up the front stretch, which will definitely keep him in it going in the 1.
I'm interested to see with 5 to go if 2 seconds is a big enough gap for Jeremy Burns. It's the other side of this.
I have to feel like it is, just because he's been able to keep them at bay even at like 7 or 8 tenths of a second. But crazier things have happened. A lockup where, you overshoot the corner a little bit, or if you have a situation like Raeder where you just get back on the throttle a little too fast and the back end steps out. I mean, 2 seconds when everything's going fine for both first and second, that's a big gap. The moment anything goes wrong, though, that is no gap at all.
Yeah. And it has stretched out to just over a second. Rob Raeder struggling with the handling of his car in the closing laps. Matt Robinson has clawed his way up to Trevor Keith. He is within half a second here for the 5th spot before 5 to go.
Dare I say, that's a couple of really, really good-looking race cars battling for the 5th place position right now. Really bold, really vibrant looks for them both, and right now it is a good battle on the racetrack for a top 5 finish here at COTA. Trevor Keith has had it, and what has been honestly a rather, dare I say, tame day for the 15. It feels like all the battling and all the action has either been just in front of him or just behind him. Matt Robinson, though, he has been in a good bit of battles here today, so this is nothing new for the 11 with 5 to go.
I don't know, look on the left-hand side of your screen. Linz is chipping away.
Well, chipping away is one thing. I feel like, though, you just don't have enough laps to keep going at it a little bit. I'll tell you what, though, 4/10 of a second, that's pretty significant. If he keeps doing that, he'll get within a half a second on that last lap. I mean, easier said than done, but he made up a lot of headway to Burns that time around. We'll see if he's able to replicate that here with 4 to go.
Has it down to 1.8 seconds. So we'll jump back here to the battle for the 5th position for the time being. But just keep an eye on the left-hand side of your screen. Watch that timer. If it dips below 1.5 seconds this time by, I have faith.
And it's fluctuating pretty big, though, anywhere from about 1.8 to 2.5 right now. But this battle is what we're watching on track, the battle for 5th between Keith and Robinson. Oh, maybe a touch of the lockup there, maybe not. Maybe just really late braking there for the 11. Gets him to the inside, going through 1. It's going to be on the outside here in the S's. I don't think Robinson really likes being here, but he's going for it because there's not that much time left.
You got it.
He did. Nicely done. Tell you what, that was a gritty move there from the 11 to take away that 5th place spot. Nicely executed, though.
This time by, it looks like Linz lost about 2 or 3 tenths.
Yeah, we'll see what the gap is here coming across the line. 139.2 to 139.4. He actually gave back about a tenth or so. So that's not what you want to do when there's only a couple laps to go in this one. You see, it looks like Grant Thorpe pulls over. Lets Linz go on by so he can keep trying to pursue the leader. And yeah, if you're Rob Raeder, you have kind of lost touch here with the top 2. Very strong drive today for the 53. Led some laps. battled for the lead a good bit, but just I think the wheels have kind of fallen off that 53. I think they got a little too hot here with just a couple laps to go.
Well, then we say that. He pulls it down to 1.6, 1.5, fluctuating. You were talking about just a little out of touch here. Speaking of out of touch, 30 seconds.
Yeah.
The gap.
I tell you what, I don't know if there's ever been a fourth place driver we've talked less about in a race today than Dakota Floyd. Been a solid day for him by all stretches of the imagination. Just, clearly a bit of a pace differential between him and the top three. So he is a half-minute back running in this fourth place spot. He's also 9 seconds clear of Robinson, so he's kind of just been doing time trial laps since the drop of the green flag here today.
Well, he needs a solid race. He needs something to go his way. Daytona, Atlanta did not. So this is where I think Floyd will come out here, have a solid day, top 5, and then build from there. We go to Phoenix next week. He can build on this. This is where, and a lot of guys joke about this, but this is where the racing starts. This is the season now. Daytona, Talladega, Atlanta, all those races, yeah, they might mean a win, but to some of these guys, they've already checked it off as it doesn't count towards my season and my confidence.
Yeah, this is definitely a good confidence-building race if you're the 57. This has been a strong drive for him. So we hit now 2 to go. Trying to figure out exactly what happened with Lynn's second. I was watching that timing table. It got down as low as 1.1 for a second and then exploded back to 2.5. Maybe just an ambitious move trying to make up some time that didn't work out. Who's to say? But Nick Alves, Ben Lafter, this is the spot for the last bit in the top 10. They are battling for a top 10 finish right now. Alves has it. Lafter trying to get it back.
Here to go. After almost had an opportunity, he might still get it up the hill.
Yeah, he's right there. He's going to reel in Alves a little bit here, take a peek to the inside. How aggressive does he get on the brakes? Actually gets on the brakes a little bit sooner than the 24. Going to try to get this car to rotate, and he will take that spot away. Lafter back up to 10th. They've got 2 to go.
As Jeremy Burns 2 seconds ahead as he'll come by for the white flag presented by Earhart Homes. Love where you live. One more time around here at COTA. And Jeremy Burns with a pretty sizable gap here to Carter Lenz. Lap traffic still a factor here in the closing laps, but navigating it well. The 9 goes by.
Yeah, it looks like he's gotten through this wave. Carter Lenz is going to be stuck behind 2 different lap cars here going through the S's. Not where you want to be. That's going to probably cost him some time, but tell you what, he kept the 9 honest through every step of this race, both him and the 53. Obviously, Roeder with that slide cost him that potential second place run a few laps ago, but all 3 of these guys, a masterclass here on the road courses relative to the rest of the field. But as we make our way here into 8.
Oh, he's out wide.
Oh, he did. He clipped the dirt a little bit. Oh, here comes Lenz.
It's not over yet.
Right there now. Oh, boy. Oh, he's to the inside. Took a peek at it. Here we go. Only one more sequence of corners to go before they hit the checkered. And who's it gonna be? We thought it was Burns, but he overshot turn 8 and has opened up the door for one last attempt here for the 66 and the 15.
Send it all you can. Move him out of the way.
Oh, boy.
Wow.
That certainly got a lot closer than we thought it was going to. So Jeremy Burns is going to win it here at COTA by maybe a couple tenths, but boy howdy, did that get spicy right there in the last, 7 corners? Man, oh man. Congratulations, Jeremy Burns. picking right up where he left off here on the road courses, winning at COTA, I believe, for the 3rd straight season at least. But man, that you had talked about it earlier, especially in that first stage. Burns had just occasionally was overshooting the corner a bit, and that almost was the worst time for it to rear its head, as that 2-second gap evaporated going through turn 8, and Lynn's very, very much had a chance there with the last couple corners.
If we can take it back on an instant replay and see where this mistake happened. Back it up a little bit more here.
Yeah, before that, it's going into turn 8. It's the sequence before this. Yeah, here we go. So he has this gap. Carter Lynn's is the 4th car in that line. There's 2 lap cars between Burns and Lynn's here. And going into turn 8, the 9 right here just overshoots it and really, really has a tough time getting this car to rotate. Actually cuts the right rear into the gravel a little bit. Good sequence of corners from Lynn's. And then right here, going into, I believe it is turn 11, is where Lynn's has his best shot. This was where the moment was going to be, was right here. Got just a touch to the inside, but locked up the tires a little bit. And that ultimately was the moment that settled it. But man, he all of a sudden had a real chance at it. And I can't imagine how Jeremy Burns would have felt if he had led 41 laps here just to throw it away with only a couple corners to go. But he was able to rally and hold on to it. But yeah, that got dicey.
Well, we have the opportunity, though. We're going to go hunt for your race winner in the number 9. Try to pull him into the broadcast booth. And I'm searching. I'm doing my best. There he is right there. It's Jeremy Burns, Bradley Cooper, Alex Gagnon in the broadcast booth. What a close one there, buddy.
Yeah, I tell you what, for the later half of that race, I couldn't see my braking marker going down the backstretch. So I looked up, kind of on that last lap. And I was like, oh, crap, I'm past my braking point. So I had to minimize the damage there. But, that was an awesome race.
This was shades of Chicago street course. I thought you were going to throw it away on the last lap.
Yeah, being in that position before, I knew that I just had to go defensive. And now that I'm in an alliance with Carter, we race, and we've always raced with respect, but even more now. And it's just good to get a solid finish after the start of this year has been, kind of crazy for me.
Yeah, and we talked about that a little bit during the race, with the collegiate esports series and the participation that you had there limited at Daytona, started behind the 8-ball, 23 laps down. So it's been a weird start to the season for you. And, maybe I'm touching on maybe a sensitive subject, but, a little bit last season too, not as consistent and as fast, but you've stayed consistent at the road courses. So this one kind of turns things around.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, like you said, it was kind of a funny situation with the college series going to Wednesdays. So they kind of overlap a little bit. But yeah, this was definitely one that I had circled to get back into the, swing of things. And with everybody that was around me practicing this week, you can just see how much everybody's improved. I've kind of, flatlined. Maybe I've been, been a little bit better. But I mean, you look at guys like Rob, he's really put in some work. Carter's put in so much work here. I know that he wanted this one so bad because of what happened last year, but just seeing all the work that everybody's put in, it just puts a smile on my face, knowing that we're pushing each other to be the best that we could possibly be.
Well, and you top 3 split off from the rest of the field. It was 32 seconds to 4th position at the end of this 30-lap run. So that's mighty impressive. But what else is impressive here? First win on the season comes in week 3. Jeremy Burns, no stranger to victory lane here at COTA. But what is strange here is that it's going to take a little while to go back road racing. So hopefully things are steady now for you. Anybody you got to shout out while we have you in the booth?
Yeah, I have my list. It's back this year. My mom and dad, Josie, Coach P, Sonny, my grandma, Miss Betsy, Julie, Derek, Caroline, Shannon, Belinda, Betty, Colleen, Tommy, Chrissy, Dana, and Dylan. Everybody over there at Rolling Thunder, Lightning Fast, Metroplex for being on the hood of the car. They're back for 2026, so it's great to get them back in victory lane. New paint scheme, really awesome. Chapman Environmental, Buck Kicker, Coastal Financial, Ultimate Exterior Lighting, Erhard Homes, All About Bugs. You all up here at Vspeed. This is going to be one that I got to circle to go back and watch because I can only imagine. I mean, that was a 48-lap battle, so going back, I'm going to be glued to it the entire time. But everybody else in the league, everybody was just extremely, extremely awesome tonight with, whether you were a lapper, whether you were competitive. Everybody just seemed to race with a lot of respect. So that's really good to see after a couple super speedways because that tensions can build up. But this league is looking better than ever, and I'm so pumped for the rest of the season.
Jeremy Burns victorious here tonight at COTA. We'll see you in 7 days when we go to the desert.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
Final race results and the interviews with the rest of your top three in just a moment's time. We're going to take a quick commercial break here on Vspeed. You are watching the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series. The Earhart Grand Prix. Back here in Texas in just a moment.
JS Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Hey Dad, did you know that replacing your cooling system reduces repair costs and improves energy efficiency? Plus, it operates more efficiently, which means more money in my pocket. I mean, your pocket. Hey Dad, did you know that a new cooling system is less noisy and has a smart thermostat you can control from your phone?
How'd you get so smart?
Must be from Mom.
When it comes to your home's most important decisions, make the smart choice and trust your local Cedar Rapids Pro partner. We're in your neighborhood, so call today.
Back here live at COTA West, and the stock car format of this racetrack did not disappoint. It was a battle for 48 laps, as Jeremy Burns described it. He was your stage one winner and overall race winner, but the 66 and 53 kept him honest all race long. Final race results coming up on your screen. Well, I tried to hit those buttons at the same time. Doesn't work. We'll do it this way. How about this? Nope, still nothing. One more time.
There we go.
There we go. One caution for the stage, 3 lead changes, and it's Jeremy Burns ahead of Carter Lenz, who started on the pole. Rob Roeder with the top 3. It was 37 seconds, the interval between Burns and Dakota Floyd in 4th, but a solid day nonetheless. Matt Robinson with a top 5. Trevor Keith will finish in 6th. Then you have Michael Bennett in the 14. What a recovery he had. Remember, Bennett made a mistake and fell all the way back to 10th. He'll get back up to 7th before the end of this one. Justice Murphy going to finish in 8th. A good day for the 12. Dylan Picklesheimer. Don't worry, sit-down marks. We got your final results. 9th place for the 33. And Ben Lapter rounding out your top 10.
And then looking back to 11th here, Nick Alves was battling in that 9th to 11th range kind of the whole race long. He'll bring it home in 11th place, just ahead of Michael Collin, the 5. Tyler Harrison with a late rally will bring it to the 13th position. Kyle Stewart doing the same will bring it 14th here. Only a 10th of a second back from the 45. Brandon Pamitat, the last car on the lead lap in the 15th. Ryan Munoz will finish 16th here in the 81. Caleb Gilbert, 17th, just ahead of Justin Ritchie. Jeremiah Nelson finishing 19th, and Al Likens rounding out the top 20.
21st spot's going to go to Grant Thorpe, and problems for the 77 throughout the day. And then you have the 44 of Malcolm Simpson finishing in 22nd. Grant Turner, who got cleaned off the racetrack going up the hill by the 3 of Sam Taylor. He'll end up 23rd. Kevin Orlando, he had problems 4 wide, 5 wide almost into turn 1 on lap 1. Never could recover the day in the 27. Alex Forget-Berube, very off pace here for what we usually see from the 19. Maybe a damaged car, 25th for him. John Fike was running in the top 10 to start stage 2. Falls all the way back to 26th after a couple lockups. Sam Taylor, another one of those cars that had lockups, 27th for him. Fred Pennington, I think he kept the car shiny side up, kept it on the racing surface. It's a good day, though, for Fred Pennington. Daniel Holloway going to finish 2 laps down. Christopher Schaefer in 30th, 2 laps down. Then you go back here, actually 4 laps down for the 23. Michael Reed, that's the talk of the town. 91 was all the way up to around 12th, 13th position. Ends up 31st spot. He's going to lose 1 spot from where he started. Parker Johnson, 32nd, 5 laps down. Joe Joya, 34th. Then you have Jacob Sirkovich in the back end of this. I believe those 2 cars battled, took each other off the racetrack. But with that, it's time to take you trackside, get the rest of our post-race interviews on the screen, and Alex Gagnon has caught up with your second place finisher, Carter Lentz.
Hey there, Carter. This is Alex and Bradley up in the Vspeed booth. You got a copy?
Right here.
I tell you what, boy, was that a wild battle for y'all. Basically, from the drop of the green flag all the way to the end of this thing, it was a 3-horse race right out the gate with you, Jeremy, and Rob, and kind of stayed that way the whole time. But what were you seeing from your end here, kind of being caught up in that mix from just green flag to checkered?
To be honest, first thing I want to say, props to Rob. I was not expecting him to be up there with me and Jeremy the whole night. I knew Jeremy was going to be fast, Dakota, TK. Unfortunately, he got into a little bit of trouble tonight, but I know he rebounded, looks like a little bit. And no, props to Rob really for hanging it out there up in the front all night. No, practicing every other day, it feels like, coming into this race, helping all my teammates, and now Jeremy being a co-teammate on a partnering team. I was showing him some things, he was showing me some things, and I know we were really kind of 1-2ing it the whole race, and Rob was the exception of we weren't expecting him to be there. So no, it was really cool seeing some other competition up there in the front, and I really wish I had Jeremy tonight, but hopefully next road course I can get him.
I tell you what, you were keeping him honest the whole way through. I mean, even with only a handful of laps to go, you were very much in the mix. And then it felt like with a few laps to go, Rob makes that move there. He kind of loses it, goes back at it, overshoots it. You hold on a second, and you're about 2 seconds back. And it seemed like that's where things were going to sit until the 9 completely overshoots turn 8, bringing you right back into the picture. Did you think in that moment you had a shot at going for the win when you saw him run wide?
Yes, no, definitely. When I saw Jeremy miss that corner like I did on lap 1 of the race, and that shrunk me right back to being on his bumper. No, right there, I knew I had to kind of lock in a little bit harder than try and coast it to the end. And if I was a little bit more, I wouldn't say reckless, but more aggressive there at the end and maybe use the bumper on him, I definitely think I could have won tonight. But for someone as good as Jeremy, I don't want to bring myself to have to move him out of the way in the last corner to beat him. I want to beat him fair and square. So no, props to him for making the least amount of mistakes the whole night, and it almost bit him in the end. But no, it's fun to really keep him honest and just stay right there with him, and he can't really make any mistakes unless I make a mistake or Rob tonight was making a mistake. Then he had a little bit of breathing room, but then he turned around and make one a couple laps later, and everything would just close right back up, and we were all right next to each other. So no, really tonight it was a close battle trying to get him right there at the end. So wish I got the top step, but no, we're gonna keep the head down and move forward to the next race.
And well, coming up next is Phoenix. But I tell you what, y'all put on one hell of a show tonight. It was a ton of fun to watch up here in the booth. But Carter, anyone you'd like to shout out here on the podium finish this evening?
Shout out the primary sponsor, Lynn Seating Air Conditioning. They're going to be on the car all season. Let's see, all the other sponsors, Earhart Homes, All About Bugs, Chapman Environmental, everyone that puts on the league here, Vspeed, you guys up in the booth, you guys are exceptional every week. All the friends and family that are watching, my girlfriend Sarah, I know she's watching, waiting for me right now. So keeping everything like that, and no, hopefully I get to see you guys maybe next week again.
Would certainly be fun. We would love to have you join us back up here in the booth again, Carter, next week. Either way, congrats on the run here tonight, and we will hopefully catch you next week at Phoenix.
Yeah, thank you very much. You guys have a good one.
That is your second place finisher here tonight, Carter Linz, in that 66 machine. Came up just about a corner short here this evening.
We have one more driver to talk to. That's your third place finisher, Rob Roeder, in the number 53. Rob Roeder, it's Bradley Cooper. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. I have you.
Well, Rob, hanging it out there is what they called it. They were really surprised that you were up there just throwing this car around, throwing your weight around. But I'm not surprised at all. I mean, we're talking about the old 5-time champion. I mean, you got a lot to gain out here on this road course side of things, and you proved here tonight that you've been putting the time in.
Thanks, Bradley. I appreciate that. Yeah, it was a fun race. To be honest with you, I knew Carter and Jeremy were going to be the class of the field. I was aiming for a top 5 tonight, put a lot of practice in, and it showed. But even then, I had better pace than I expected, and got to mix it up with those guys, and it was a lot of fun. But big shout out to the changes in the championship point system. I mean, I know I've won 5 championships, so whatever.
Was it time for a change? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I was never a fan of the way the system was set up, and then, to be honest with you, I would play the system every year. So we'd get to these racetracks, and I knew Jeremy was probably going to be faster than me. Carter would probably be faster than me. I can put in 10 hours worth of practice and run third, and that really doesn't make a difference because we got to deal with playoff points and whatever else. So I basically just take these weeks off. But with the new change in the points, every single week matters and every single point matters. So I put a lot of effort in this week, and the entire team put a lot of effort in this week, and it showed in the results for the most part for everybody. Parker Johnston would have been right there with me and Carter and Jeremy if he didn't get wrecked. So big shout out to Parker. He put in a ton of effort, and he was really quick. He's probably faster than me, so he'd probably be sitting here doing an interview right now if that didn't happen to him. But this is the result of moving to a much more legitimate points battle, and nobody really believed me when I would tell them in the off season I felt like this point system actually benefited me, and maybe now people will understand why. So we'll see. We'll keep putting in the effort, we'll keep putting in the work, and we'll see what we can do. But really, really proud to be up there with Carter and Jeremy. I mean, those guys are so fast, and I was aiming for a top 5, leading laps and finishing thirds better than anything I could have imagined. So happy about it. We're kind of excited for the next one.
Yeah, and on top of that, you got 5 laps led. You started up front. That's another portion of this is qualifying at this racetrack is so different than actually racing it. And you showed both disciplines of speed here this evening.
Well, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. I wrecked myself on the first lap in turn 7, totaled the car, and had to go back and pull it together for the second lap. So maybe trying to get a little too much, but.
Well, I mean, we're just throwing it out there. You did a fantastic job. And
figured it out.
I think next week at Phoenix, and we know that you can perform there. This is where, the 53 car finds its way to victory lane. But before we get to all that, before we get to week number 4, who do you have in mind to put this 53 car on the racetrack tonight?
Yeah, big shout out to Chapman Environmental Services. Without them, we don't have you guys at Vspeed doing awesome broadcasts every single week. So huge shout out to them. They do a ton for us. Really glad to get them on the podium here tonight. Obviously a big shout out to the entire team, the EXR teammates and the performance guys that we work with. We put in a lot of work this week, and it showed for everybody on raw pace, but it showed for most of us in our result as well. So big shout out to Alex, Caleb, Nick, Michael Bennett, Jacob Sirkovich, Parker Johnston. Awesome work with those guys. Just finally pulling it all together. And Earhart Homes sponsored the race tonight, so I got to give them a shout out. Shout out to Jeremy for another win. I was hoping Carter would mix it up with him there at the very end. Get in there and scoot him out of the way. He doesn't need to win any more of these, and it just didn't happen. I was hoping to kind of fall in my lap, but it didn't turn out that way. But awesome racing with those guys tonight. Hopefully we can have some good battles in the future on these road courses, and we'll just keep putting in work, and we'll keep trying to get better until we can win one.
Rob Roeder, 3rd place here tonight at COTA. We'll move on to the Phoenix and the Mojave Desert. Just 7 days' time. See you then.
Thanks.
So there you have it. Your top 3 here this evening. And Alex, again, going back to what we said in the pre-race, what we were expecting here at COTA, it was more the same of what we saw there in season 5. I'm excited here for the rest of this one, and I can't wait until we get to, I never thought I'd say this, until we get to our next road course.
Yeah, crazy times here in the Chapman Cup Series, but they continue to put on phenomenal races week after week when it comes to these road courses. So already looking ahead, I believe the next one on the calendar, probably Sonoma. So excited to see where things go from there. Oh, sorry, Watkins Glen. I forgot they moved up to April. So Watkins Glen coming up next. That should be a fun one. That's the only one that Jeremy Burns did not win last year. He'll be looking for vengeance on that. And Kyle Diaz, I think, will be looking to defend that title. So fun grouping of tracks coming up. But, of course, Phoenix next week. The dog leg, expect some restarts going 6, 7, 8 wide as they make their way down to turn 1. Should be a crazy one out in the desert.
You mentioned Watkins Glen in April. New York in April. Does that sound like we're going to use some wet tires? I think there's a possibility of that. I hope that they...
certainly.
I hope that...
As someone who grew up not too far from there, get ready to bring a rain jacket because it's going to be about 52 and overcast.
Yeah, I would think in the real life they're going to have rain tires on those cars at some point in that race, and maybe they'll factor that into from the real life into the schedule here. But you can catch us back live on Wednesday evening, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. A little bit of a late start here this evening. We had a problem with the network on iRacing, so we were at a little bit of a late start, but we will get back to our regular schedule for Phoenix Raceway, March 11th for the Chapman Cup Series. But that's going to do it for us here on Vspeed. Hope you enjoyed tonight's action. If you did, hit that subscribe button. You'll never miss a single race. For my co-commentator, Alex Gagnon, for Adam Baker and everyone that helps put this on, I'm Bradley Cooper saying so long from COTA. Stay tracking, everybody.